Studying, and I found out two things. One is stress, so I had to take her out of a stressful situation, and then the other thing was vitamin D. And I literally, people say, bro, why you moving to Southern California? Because my wife got an accident. I literally type, what's the best place in the world for vitamin D? Southern California. What's the best temperature in the world in the United States of America? San Diego, California. It don't go 99, 100, and then back down. It's right there. I said San Diego, I'm 100 down. Moving to San Diego. Why? I don't care about San Diego. My wife, in the first year, last year, we were in San Diego. My wife said to me, back in Michigan, when the summer came, my wife said, you know something? I said, what? She said, I never took a nap in California. I said, what you mean by that? She said, the sun energized me, and I never needed to take a nap. You're gonna come after me. The reason why most of you pay me what you do, you keep getting knocked down, you keep quitting, because whatever your why is, it ain't stronger than the beat down you take. Whatever the beat down, whatever life is throwing at you, whatever punches is throwing, whatever's happening, it ain't deep enough for you to wake up. Like you get punched and you feel that pain, and you like, ain't no need to get up. No, and I feel you. You need to stay down. Because life gonna beat you. You talking about making millions, life gonna beat you down. You talking about making millions, multi-millions, billions, life gonna beat you down. So when you feel the pain and you get knocked out, stay down. But you got a why that's deeper than your pain. We trial, we tribulate. I will my way through it. I don't care if it's cancer. I will my way through it. I don't care if it's MS. I will my way through it. I don't care if I'm struggling in school and I'm trying to get a degree. I will my way through it. I don't care if you fail the boards. Go again. I don't care if you fail the law exam. Go again. Will your way through it. Some things you can skill yourself through. Some stuff you gotta will your way through. Without a vision, there's no direction. Without direction, there's no progress. The reason why you're struggling getting up is you don't have nothing to get up for. Success, everything is going to look out. It's going to be a dog fight. On the road to success, I lost 5 aunts to cancer. It's a dog fight. In the midst of my business, I lost aunts. I had to go to funerals. We had to get on a plane. We had to drive. We had aunts that are close to my age who died, who didn't have insurance. We had to raise money. A dog fight. I had cousins shot in stores, execution style, shot back in the head twice. It's a dog fight. Like you don't see that on YouTube, you don't see that on my TGIF. It's a dog fight. My wife, 3 years ago, 7 legions found her brain. It's a dog fight. It hasn't been easy. It's a dog fight. It hasn't been the road hasn't been success. Like it's just a paved road, and like each he go this way, it's been rough.
finally delivered for them. Yeah, long day, tough race, but finally on top, so I'm over the moon.
Cricket, the Women's T20 World Cup opening game in October will be the Proteas against England. They're in Group B along with hosts Bangladesh. The West Indies have a second qualifier. And in rugby, the Sharks are through to the Challenge Cup final. They meet Kamal 32-31. They'll battle Gloucester. The final on May the 24th rather. But Sevens rugby in Singapore, another bad result. The Blitzboks finishing 6th overall. New Zealand beat Ireland by 3 in the final, while on the women's side, South Africa finished in 9th overall. Sydney Theatre Eyewitness News.
Hello, my name is Adrian Thomas. I am 12 years old and I go to Baragwanath Primary School. I love to compete in the competition. I'm feeling a bit nervous. And I hope I get that 10,000 pounds. Thank you.
Oh, let's give you 50,000. 10,000 rand. 10,000 rand. We've got older kids and George Clooney and all these people that kids later on in life may mind. No, Adrian, 10,000 rand is what we'd like to give you. 12 years old goes to Brindale Primary. And you can be our first winner.
As 2024 makes headlines, EWN has some breaking news of our own. We have a brand new app and website. It's the digital home of the Eyewitness News team, and we're inviting you to experience it. Find all the things that keep you trusting EWN in one place. From breaking news, Australians have been warned to stay clear from using the deaths of 11 workers at the Impala Platinum Mine to the 2024 National Elections coverage. The daily EWN TV bulletins, EWN traffic, business and sports reports, plus all the news, reviews, comments and analysis from South Africa and beyond. We've upgraded your EWN experience. It's slicker, faster, better in every single way. Go to EWN.co.za or download the app from your app store.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? It is brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on something that you heard in the show. Piqued your interest, you can win 1,000 rand for that. You simply SMS us your name and the answer to 31702. Then later, someone will ask a question to win 2,000 rand. Remember, you stand a better chance of being selected to give us today's answer if you've SMSed out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So what are you waiting for? SMS out to 45142 and could save your car insurance. Insurance in partnership with 702. What's happening in Boyson's, Amo?
Got an accident for Hani. It's right on the M1 North near Boyson's Road. It is causing heavy tears coming out of Xavier Street while traveling on Smith Street in the Brompton area. It is still closed after traffic actually. So if you're traveling on the M1 South towards Smith Street, do expect delays there. Find alternative routes if you are heading towards Brompton. Traveling in the Inville area, we've got an accident reported on the R24 West. It happened near the Queen's Interchange. Delays are all the way from Barbara Road. The N12 West is also heavily backed up as a result. It is
That I go through. I will not stop in the middle of the process. I will not be defeated. I will not be destroyed. I will take everything that happens in my life and I will allow the pain to push me to greatness. You will not break me. You will not stop me. You will not defeat me. The only way I lose is if I quit. It's going to be a dog fight. And so if you're ready to quit, then don't get started. If you're ready to quit, don't get started. If you're looking for this easy path, don't get started. If you think they're not going to close the door on you and say no a million times, don't get started. But every time they close the door, I just get excited. Why? Because I am not a no pass away. You can't keep telling me no forever. You can't keep denying me forever. This type of energy, this type of passion, you can't stop it. You can contain it for a while, but you cannot stop. This is life. You can't defeat me. There is not. You don't have enough power. You don't have enough energy. You don't have enough strength to stop this. Contain it for a year, you might. 2 years, you might. You do not have hate. Does not have enough energy to destroy love. You cannot destroy this. It didn't happen to me at 19. It didn't happen to me at 20. It didn't happen to me at 30. It happened to me at 40. After I had to do all the pressure I thought I could go through. Life said, you finished with all the pressure. I said, yeah. They said, let's bring on the heat. And then when I went through the pressure and the heat, y'all, I thought it was over. The Creator said, now you ready to get cut? You said you wanted to be great, son. You said you wanted to travel the world. You said you wanted to help people, inspire people. They let me die. In our armed forces, let's just pick one, the Navy, for instance. The first thing they teach you, somebody over here, help me out. You're in the Navy, right? They're teaching you war, right? What's the first thing they teach you? First thing they teach you, the very first thing they teach you is how to respond when you have a jam gun. Number 2, how to carry a dead body. That's the first thing they teach you. They don't teach you how to defend yourself. They don't teach you how to swim. The first thing they teach you is when your gun is jammed. The first thing they teach you is a dead body, how to carry a dead body. And somebody tell me, why would they start you there? That's the worst case scenario. That's what you're not prepared for. That's what you're not thinking. You're not thinking when you go out there to defend yourself that your gun is gonna jam. You're not thinking when you go out there that your boy gonna get killed and you gotta drag. You're not thinking that. So listen to me. It's not hardships that hurt us. It's not my cousin getting shot twice. It's not my cousin spending 50 years in jail. It's not my aunt dying of cancer. It's not my wife being diagnosed with second lesions on the brain that will break you. What will break most people is you didn't prepare for that. So when you put all your little goals and all your little dreams together, it's not the thing that broke you. It was you never even thought about the fact that you could be broken. You say it's going to be a dog fight. And if you saw this ain't you want to get out now. This is where he was like, I quit. If you're willing to say, I'm not going to quit, guarantee you whatever success you want to have. You will not outrun me. You won't outrun me. You can be smarter than me. You won't outrun me. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and do videos. I'll do a video at 3 o'clock. I'll do a video at 2 o'clock. I'm putting out so much doggone content, they can't keep up. They smarter than me. They better than me. I admit, I got a GED. I ain't the smartest person in the world. But I get up and do this for Didi. I do this every day for Didi. Because of what Didi did for me. I do this for my kids. My daddy wasn't there. I do this for my family. You can't stop me. The reason why some of you can be stopped is you're doing it for yourself. Guess what happens when you get tired? When you grinding, grinding hurts. Grinding is a sacrifice. Grinding costs. When you're grinding and your body tells you you hurt, when you're doing it for you, you stop. You never prepared. You never prepared for worst case scenario. And the reason why ET is standing here, because I'm prepared for it. If you know anything about me, I still lay on floors. I still eat chips off the floor. I still do some stuff that to most people is crazy, like ET, why would you do that? Because I'm always prepared that we may not live in our house one day. One day something might happen and we might have to go back to that. And if I have to go back to that, it's not going to break me. We covered the most. And for a diamond to be produced, it must first go through extreme heat. Extreme heat. pressure. You hear what I'm telling you? For a diamond to be produced, it has to go through extreme pressure, extreme heat. And if that wasn't enough, what makes a diamond is the cuts. So I put you on put through, if you want to be a diamond, you must go through extreme pressure. If you can't take pressure, then you're not a diamond. After you go through all the pressure you thought you could not handle, and you think it's over, then they turn on the heat. Of all the stuff I've gone through in my life, eating out of trash cans, sleeping in the abandoned building, the worst thing that ever happened when I went to the hospital and they told me my wife had a chronic illness and she might not be able to walk one day. People said E.T. ask CJ, it never broke me. Why? Because I've been broken so much. Defeated so much. I've been disappointed so much in my life. And I know what it feels like. I can't wait. It's your turn. You shouldn't feel guilty. It's your turn. It's your time. You bless everybody else. You set everybody else for success. You compromise you for them, and look where you are. It's time for you. And so for a lot of you, you're not doing nothing because you don't have any purpose right now. You don't have a sense of purpose. You're not waking up for nobody. And I need you to get that itch, and I need that drive, because you know what to do. You're the right person to do it, but you just can't seem to get out of bed. You can't seem to do what you're supposed to do. Every time you come up against a trial or tribulation, you let it stop. You gotta find your why. Your why is what's gonna start you. And the problem with some of you in this room, you don't have no drive. You ain't got nothing pushing you. You ain't got no reason for waking up in the morning. You ain't got no reason for pushing past that pain. You have no reason. You better find one before you get out of here today. You better go inside. You still looking outside for the stuff that's already inside. You still looking for someone to save you when you already your superhero. You're looking for some information from somebody when you already got what you need in your head. This is time for you to get up and be the best version of you. It's not an option. And the reason why some of you are not where you're supposed to be, you've given yourself an option. You've given yourself an out. You've given yourself an excuse. You've given yourself room not to do it. But you have what it takes. Give me some energy. I can. I will. I must. Come on, I can. Come on, I will. I must. I can. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. I can means I have the ability. I got what it takes. I have the ability to do it. I will. I have the willpower to make that happen. I must, my wife. I must, my son. I must, my daughter. We can, we will, and we must. Let's go. Ask a question, seriously. This gonna be hard. Some of you young, you like still worried about what people think about you, so you want to be honest about it. I want you to think about what level you give it 90, 80, 70. You see what I'm saying for me? It's like I gave everything I got. I have no more to give. Like I really put 120 into this. So raise your hand if you give it 120. Like I ain't got no more to give, E. E, I'm giving 100, E. I know I'm just doing at least what Coach want me to do, doing everything Coach want me to do. I'm giving about 90% here, to be real. I'm giving about 90%. Let me see your hand. Of my effort, let me see your hands. I'm giving about 80%. Let me see your hand. 70%. Let me see your hand. I need you for you to admit where you are. What is it going to take for you to get every single thing you got? What is that going to take? It's consistency. And so I got to go to bed at a certain time. I got to wake up at a certain time. There's certain things I can't eat, certain things I can't watch, certain things I can't do. And I'm talking about that grind. I got an opportunity. You got an opportunity. So here's the deal. When you have an opportunity, why would you give 80% when you have an opportunity? Somebody answer that for me. Y'all talk. Why would you give 80%, 70%? Why wouldn't you always give 120%? This right here, for a lot of y'all ain't got no discipline. It's killing you. It's killing you. And you don't even realize it's killing you. It's killing you. If you're not giving 120, I'm not mad at you. My job is not to dog you out. Because once we go back out, my goal is to come here and take you to that next level. From today on, you play whatever your best game is, you play that level every single time. It doesn't mean you're going to score every time, but the effort has it. You can always give 120% effort. Life will go regardless. Mental toughness. It is in those times we have to be stronger than we've ever been before. Why? Because they need us more than they ever needed us before. I just want to make sure that the life we got left, that is sweeter than the life that if I wasn't focused and I wasn't doing what I'm supposed to do, and we're going to make it the best possible. It's your life. You got it. What you going to do with it? I want to ask you a question. Seriously. How many of y'all in this room, like, yo, it is my life, but I ain't been in control of it as much as I should be in control of it. And after the day, I'm taking more control of it. Let me see your hands. Be honest with me. Come on, let me see your hands. And so you looked up to who when you played ball? Like, who were the people you looked up to? Kobe, LeBron, CP, D-Wade, Kobe. I was the same thing with me with Dr. Luther King. In Washington, like all those people, I got a dream. When I saw Malcolm, like, boom. And I saw hundreds of black men, boom. Like, let's go. I'm like I could do that. And then when I found out I could make money doing it and I could take care of my family, I was like, showtime. Like, you only got one shot, E. So hear what I'm saying. Opportunity. You have an opportunity of a lifetime. When you understand you have an opportunity, you play a little different. Here's what I want to tell you. If you're going to get it, you're going to have that dog. You're going to have that dog. You're going to have to be that dude that say, I'm not just going with skill. There's a one type of dude who feel like because he's gifted that it's just an automatic rope for him. Let me tell y'all something. You are gifted, but you got to humble yourself. You got skill and you got will. Two total different things. You were born with certain things, but to get to the next level, and not just get to the next level, to stay at the next level, you gotta have will when you get to that next level. So when you play, you have to compete. It's sports, it's basketball. Why wouldn't you give 120%? Talk to me. What would make you not give 120%? You gotta answer it. You play that level every single time. It doesn't mean you're gonna score every time, but the effort has it. You can always give 120% effort. You can't dictate if the ball gonna always go in. You can't dictate what kind of game you're gonna have. You can't dictate how your body is gonna respond to moving around. But you can dictate your what? You can dictate your good. You can dictate you can always give 120% effort. Like, here's the deal. When y'all go play tonight, tomorrow, my goal is for you to go 120. So you're going to have the right people in here helping y'all. But if you're giving me 70, 80, 90, you ain't giving me 120, you're not going to get out of this experience what you're supposed to get out. That's my job. Why don't you always give 120% effort? It's your turn. I don't belong in this room. I remember the videos had already been out. My numbers were great. And I would come in rooms and go, or like that room, like I go to a high school, like, boom. I go to a youth detention center, boom. I go to a prison, boom. I come to corporate and go, I don't know if I belong in here. Everybody in the room don't look like me. They don't come from where I come from. I don't know if I belong here. And I'll never forget, I had a conversation with Les Brown. Les Brown had called me to Orlando. We sat in the hotel, and I left, and I started talking to Les, and I started naming like, yo, you, Les Brown, this person, number one in the world, he said, don't you ever say that again. I said, don't say what? He said, you the best in the world right now. I said, what? He said, you the best in the world right now. There's nobody as good as you in the world. You're the best right now. The only reason you're not the best right now is because you don't believe you're the best now. And when you walk out this room, I want you to go in the meeting and tell, I'm the best right now. He said, before you even become number one, start to proclaim it and say it long before it happens. Say, I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. And when I was number 20, I started saying, I'm the number one motivational speaker in the world. And I went to the computer. And the world said exactly what I said, that Eric Thomas is number one in the world. I spoke it, the world heard it, and it activated. Your problem is that you don't believe you belong here. Your problem is that you don't think you should be sitting down here. So listen to me. There are those of you saying, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best at this company, right? But your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. That you're spending more money than you're making. Why? Because you're a consumer. You're reading all the books and you're saying everything the books are saying. But those books are not in alignment with your values. If you're going to go to the next level, your values are going to have to change. When I believed that my voice was needed in this world, when I believed that I needed to be on the stage, not for myself, but to speak to a group of people who come from where I come from, a working class, who don't know what it's like to make millions and millions of dollars, who don't understand what wealth looks like, that I needed to come in the room with a single parent mother, with a father not in my life, being homeless in a high school dropout. Only somebody who comes from where you come from can tell you you belong. And I had to get my butt on stage because there's some folks that Les Brown can't reach. There's some folks that Tony Robbins can't reach. There's some folks that only I can reach. And so I need to be on the stage with them, doing what I was called to do. But what you cannot do is you cannot quit during the process. You cannot give up because it ain't what you see. You cannot give up. Champions keep going when they don't have anything left in their tank. When you want this thing as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you find a way. Some of y'all been worshiping since you was in high school, so you don't really know how to grind. Like you talk grind. Like I love.
Head west. You are in an 11-minute slowdown caused by a crash. You are on the best route. You should reach your destination by 7:52.
Then South Africa will not survive. And to illustrate that, they choose burning the flag. How does that sit with you? Compare and contrast those two stories.
Breakfast with Bongani Bigwa, live streaming countrywide on the Prime Media Plus app. DSTV channel 856, 92.7 and 106 FM.
11 minutes after 7 o'clock, what you need to know at this hour. There's 8 officers who are part of Deputy President Paul Mashatile's VIP Protection Services unit. Those guys were caught on video punching and kicking people on the N1 highway in June last year while they're back in the Randburg Magistrates Court today. This is for pre-trial proceedings. They face all sorts of charges, including pointing a firearm, malicious damage to property, reckless and negligent driving, assault with the intent to do grievous bodily harm, attempting to defeat the administration of justice. It's going to be quite a case. Israel, in the meantime, has ordered the officers of Al Jazeera, the satellite news network, to close Benjamin Netanyahu, announcing yesterday that his government has voted unanimously to shut down local offices of the Qatar-owned broadcaster. Madonna gave a free concert in Rio de Janeiro this past weekend. This was at Brazil's famous Copacabana beach. Attracted more than 1.6 million fans. For all the love in the world. I don't care if Michael Jackson rose from the dead. I'm not sure it would be that much fun to be squashed with literally hundreds of thousands of other people. 1.6 million. What do you even see? I mean, where are you? Where's the stage? Do you know what I'm saying? 1.6. How do you get out? Just think of the nightmare of getting in and out of that venue. Wouldn't you have to be there, I don't know, 2 days before to be closest to the stage?
And if you are leaving 2 days later,
Where are the ablutions? Where do you sleep? What do you eat? I am sorry. It sounds lovely. If there's a way to sort of helicopter parachute me in and then pull me out, that might be great. Adam Gilchrist will give us more details on that story in the Worldview. The actor, director, and producer George Clooney turns 63 today. He was born on this day, 1961. You may remember him, of course, for all sorts of films, including Ocean's 11, Syriana, Batman. He shares his birthday with the South African comedian Kagiso Lediga, who turns all of 46. Fun fact, George Clooney had his children, his set of twins, at the age of 57 in the year 2017. One of the questions I was asking you earlier, have you had kids later in life? Which one is better, to do it earlier or later? And what is the key difference for you between the two?
702. Up next, the big interview.
EWN Traffic. 14 after 7. This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amor, in Bedford View, there are heavy delays on the R24 West. Why?
Hani, there's an accident there that happened just before the Glulies turned off. Delays are as you come out of Barbara Road. The N12 West is also heavily backed up because of the scene. Please drive with care along this area. While traveling on the N3 North, we've got peak time delays. This is between the airlines interchange and the Glulies turned off. Heading towards Midrand via the N1 South from the city of Tshwane, we've got the usual peak time delays between Braamfontein interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more of your reports, but if you see anything else, please do remember to SMS us on 31702.
Mother's Day is fast approaching, and it's your chance to get a better deal on your insurance. Yep, Outsurance is on a mission to see if they can get you a better deal so you can splurge on mum all year long. Don't miss out. Get your obligation-free Outsurance quote before 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of May. That's this week. And you'll automatically be entered into a lucky draw to win a Net Florist voucher to the value of 2,500 Rand. SMS MUM to 45142 for a quote. That's MUM, M-O-M, to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age. All now also in a no water needed, fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
All unregistered residential schemes are operating illegally. That's why the Register Your Residential Scheme campaign invites all unregistered schemes to legally register with the CSOS. You can do this by completing and submitting the CS1 form on csosconnect.org.za. And for more info, simply call CSOS on 0800 000 653. The CSOS is a Section 3A entity of the Department of Human Settlements established to regulate and resolve disputes in community schemes.
What if you could turn every day into Mother's Day? Complete an insurance quote, and you could discover monthly savings to spoil your mom all year long. Complete an obligation-free quote before 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of May. You'll be automatically entered to 45142 for a quote. That's mom to 45142. Insurance is a licensed insurer, FSP. T's and C's online.
702.
The big interview.
With Bongani Bingwa.
17 after 7 on to this now. Are investors ditching South Africa? With uncertainty about the outcome of the 2024 general election, there have been some jitters in the market, with some adopting a wait-and-see approach. Investors, as you know, don't like to know. They don't like not knowing what comes next. But are others seeing the writing on the wall and opting out? The world's largest mining company wants to gobble up Anglo, but without its South African assets. They don't want to deal with our load shedding and logistics challenges. Now, after 122 years, the oil giant Shell is reportedly also headed for the hills. We've been warned by some CEOs, including VW's Thomas Schaefer, cautioned that South Africa is becoming an undesirable location to manufacture cars. Is this just the normal hustle and bustle of business? Are these for commercial reasons, or is it a vote of no confidence? To explain it all to us, Kaya Sitola is our independent analyst who joins us. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners.
Broadly speaking, are we seeing the beginnings of a divestment drive out of South Africa?
Not necessarily. I think what we do know is that international investors do obviously have the choice to decide where to invest and how to invest their money. And I think the big distinction that we always have to draw is this distinction between those that come and invest in fixed capital assets in South Africa versus those that simply invest what we refer to as floating capital. And the distinction between the two is that if somebody wants to come and build a factory here, they're in here for the long haul, they're here invested for the long run. But comparatively, those that simply want to invest in shares that are listed in South Africa, for example, they've got much easier ways of exiting in and out of that market. So there's a very different approach that we're seeing there. What we're seeing, unfortunately, is that obviously there's been a couple of big transactions that seem to indicate that those that are making investment decisions have decided to allocate capital elsewhere. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's now this blanket drive to move out of South Africa. It's simply investment decisions being taken by companies that just happen to have the material influence and the material profile out there. And of course, we do pay attention to the decisions that they make and whether they reflect the broader consensus about the South African market.
Well, a recent PwC report suggests that, in fact, we've been able to attract a net flow of foreign direct investment since the financial crisis. I think the figure last year was sitting at 96 billion rand, or 1.4% of GDP. What are you seeing, though, in terms of the trends? Is it people in for a quick buck, or are investors coming to South Africa for the long haul?
Now, that's the problem that we have with this analysis, is that obviously one has to figure out what it is that we think drives investment decisions. So, of course, if you look at that particular report, it will say that on the long-term basis, there's been a net inflow of capital. But, of course, that may simply be a reflection of South Africa being still the most mature market in Africa. It's still regarded as a gateway to the African continent. So anyone who actually thinks that actually they want to have exposure to the African continent are probably going to end up in South Africa as a first destination. That must be distinguished from those that have been here for a very long time and have then decided that, well, actually, it looks like the type of industries or the type of sectors that we used to go to South Africa for are now now being actually explored elsewhere. So again, there isn't a linear process. There may be one sector where there's a clear investment drive to come to South Africa based on South African economic fundamentals. There may be one sector where everybody says, well, we aim to South Africa because that market has matured and we found a new market elsewhere. So there's no linearity in this. All we have to do is simply keep track on our different sectors, not doing and capitalize on them.
Well, you don't get more long-term than 122 years, right? If Shell divests, how significant would that be?
So I think the Shell story is obviously one that requires us to look at what has happened in that particular business imperative. I think if you remember a couple of years ago, there were big refineries in Durban in particular that they took the profit here in that in order for us to actually, refurbish and keep this going for the long run, we need particular things to happen and not sure of these. So that problem with the refineries is the type of problem that obviously alert investors like Shell to say, well, maybe in South Africa, in that part of the business, we need to reconsider our options and look elsewhere. So this particular business is not actually a singular one. So you have something that people refer to as a downstream business, as you've got a marketing business, and the question that we have to deliberate on is which part of the market has Shell decided to exit from, and what really motivated them to make that call now.
There are suggestions, of course, that there's more to this than meets the eye. At the center of it, a BEE deal gone wrong. Can you explain what has happened with Tebe Investments?
So it's actually a completely separate conversation. So a couple of years ago, Tebe decided itself that it actually wanted to do something different with its 28% shareholding in this arrangement that it had with Shell for a very long time. And what they wanted to do was to exercise the flow that has been in their various BEE agreements that they've had since this market. There were obviously big iterations. The first one of 25%, they've moved up to 28%. So the guys at Shell decided that they actually wanted to sell a part of the stake in order to realize some cash. And so obviously spread away from this minus and diversify them. Now what this perhaps is the great loss is the simple reason that Shell then decided there was actually a 28% stake was worthless, which to you and I would sound very surprising because the company says 28% of our business is worthless, while the rest of the business worth anything. So there's actually been that trade-off for the past couple of years where there's been a question of how do you get to stake, how long you let it stake, how to stake, something to get effective.
I mean, that 28% stake, as I understand it, was worth a reported $73 million US. How does that evaporate?
Yeah, that's the problem that Shell has to explain, and obviously Tebe's view is that, look, at a point in time when we say we want to exercise this particular support, you have the possibility of providing us with the information that was required for the valuation, in other words, send us with financial projections, and Shell did actually provide that to Tebe, and Tebe then said, well, based on what you guys have given us, this is what we think the value of this asset is going to be. Then Shell decided to turn around and say, well, actually, that information that we gave you is now outdated, here's new information, and based on the new information, the number suddenly became zero. So you can imagine that there's clearly something that has gone wrong in this particular process, and it hasn't helped that in the agreement that the two companies had, there was a clause that said there was, if we ever reach a dispute, you must appoint one of the big four auditing firms in order to resolve the dispute. But guess what? All four auditing firms are conflicted, so none of them can actually break the deadlock. So that's the problem that we now don't know how to fix.
So ultimately, this is a toxic cocktail, if you will, of commercial issues. As you point out, though, there are some own goals in terms of the refineries issue. But in terms of how these BEE deals work, if there are pull-out clauses, in other words, you get into a deal with maybe BEE partners who may not be going the distance with you, who may themselves be looking for a quick buck. Is that the case here, or is it, as some have described it, the great Dutch heist?
No. Well, what happens with these deals is that the biggest risk that all of the companies that enter into the space of the fact that you could essentially create overnight billionaires and then they are finding you the day after and then you see that they're unempowered. So what happens is that a lot of them had long-term unlocking clauses, about 7 to 10 years was the average around that time. The Marumo has done some research on that in particular. So what then happens that at the end of the lockout clause, then there's the question of, well, do you find new BE partners or do you simply allow your current partners to sell? That's an unresolved question, and I think you'll remember there was a big impasse about whether you want to empowered or you are always empowered.
Right.
We still don't have the answer to that. But in relation to this in particular, this is actually one of the most long-standing deals that is actually over 20 years old, in that it's been clearly a partnership that has worked well for Shell. It's enabled them to get BE credentials that otherwise wouldn't have had. With the BE deal that's worked well for Shell, I mean, they participated in a market that you and I will always be part of, regardless of whether the price of oil goes up or down. So it's one of those deals that actually should be a template for how you can remain invested in the long run. But the big problem here is that obviously at a point in time when somebody said want to do things differently, these two partners could simply not find a meeting of the minds, and that's the crisis that we're finding now.
And what does government do? I mean, does mineral resources and energy just shrug and look the other way? Is there a way to kind of rescue this kind of thing? Because it could have an impact on similar deals in the future.
I think it's important for the department to actually keep an eye on a deal of this nature, because you can imagine that if a company like Shell, with its a presence in the market and across the globe, and if a common company like Tebe, which of course is one of the better performing and performing companies out there, if they themselves cannot make a deal that quite simply looks quite straightforward, if they can't make this deal work, you have to wonder about whether other deals of this nature can actually be made work. And I think obviously, given the importance of empowerment in South Africa and given the importance of actually making the rules very clear for potential investors and potential international investors, it is not the type of conversation that the department can simply ignore. It's the type of conversation that may indeed inform its new policy orientation. We are going to have a new government, and of course, if the sum of all deliberations we've seen over the past 20 to 25 years regarding empowerment and regarding BE deals indicates that we need a new model, or we need to reconsider how it's done, then these are the type of conversations that we need to have. We cannot afford to ignore them.
Gosh, I wonder what it will mean for service station owners, workers, and the impact of jobs down that value chain. Kasitola, always appreciate your analysis. Thank you.
EWN Business.
28 after 7, Mateo Horipe with business news. So here we go. Uber rival Bolt drives towards an initial public offering.
Yeah, Bolt Technology has secured a $235 million credit facility, or around 4.3 billion rand, that will help prepare the firm for a public listing. Now, in 2022, Bolt earned around 7.4 billion euros in a valuation after raising 628 million euros. The Estonian mobility company offers ride-hailing, food delivery, and scooter rentals to 150 million customers. The startup operates in more than 45 countries, primarily in Europe and Africa, where it competes with Uber. Bolt raised around $2 billion in funding over 18 rounds and is expected to list on the New York Stock Exchange and the Stock 600 in Europe next year.
Netcare posting solid results. I imagine their pharmacy operations have something to do with it.
Yeah, the country's largest private healthcare operator, Netcare, says group core profit is expected to grow by between 7.3 and 7.7% in the 6th month to end March. The company says the core profit margin in the hospital and pharmacy operations did well, even when excluding diesel costs and strategic initiatives. This is despite total paid patient days decreasing by 0.8% compared to the prior period. Netcare shares were up 3% on Friday.
Where's the rand?
Rand at this hour at 18 Rand 52, weaker against the dollar this morning. It's at 19 Rand 95 against the euro, 23 Rand 24 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $2,310 an ounce, while platinum is lower by 1% at $954. Brent crude $83.22 a barrel. All business after 8.
Coming up later in the show, a chance to tell you about the gold rhino of Marumo and why it is a ballet and an experience for you not to miss. In the meantime, let's get straight to the latest eyewitness news from Sifiso Zulu. The M1 stairway.
That's right, Hani. Good morning. Motorists are being urged to avoid Smith Street under the M1 highway this morning. The Johannesburg Roads Agency closed it over the weekend as a precautionary measure following a fire there. Last week, an underground fire, which has been confirmed to be a result of vandalism, erupted in the tunnels on the double-decker highway. The Johannesburg Metro Police Department says motorists between Brixton and Braamfontein will be mostly affected. Spokesperson Kolani Fisher.
To navigate around the closure, motorists are encouraged to use Inoxondonga Avenue for east to west travel between Brixton and Braamfontein, Bertha Street and Jansmans Avenue to access the M1 North towards Sandton, and the Car Street off-ramp from the M1 to reach Brixton.
Meanwhile, residents in Braamfontein and surrounding areas affected by that power outage are still in the dark for 5 days. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena says they are working to restore electricity, but the turnaround time has not been determined.
We apologize for the inconvenience that this is causing to the customers who are affected by the outage because of this incident.
Despite dealing with rampant crime, poor service delivery, and electricity issues, residents in Olivenwood-Bosch have thanked the ANC for improving their lives. Most people applauded the party during former ANC Deputy President David Mabuza's campaign in the area. Alfra Mushwana was there.
Long drop toilets, sewer leaks, and gun violence are some of the major challenges faced by residents. The Olivenwood-Bosch community member Joseph Mahapa says despite these issues, his family's life is much better than it was many years ago.
It's been a while since the ANC came to our township. So when they're here, they encourage us and give hope to the community.
Another resident, Tandi Mtweni, says she's an RDP housing beneficiary and her children have benefited from NSFAS's housing program.
I'm proud of the ANC. I will never leave the ANC, so I'm going to vote for it.
Former ANC Deputy President David Mabuza has urged residents to remain loyal to the party. Alpha Anshwana, and with this news, Olivenwood-Bosch.
And finally,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
2 NASA astronauts are due to head to the International Space Station aboard a new spacecraft. Boeing Starliner will blast off from Cape Canaveral in Florida in its first crewed test flight. The mission has been delayed for several years because of setbacks in the spacecraft's development. If it is successful, it will become the second private firm able to provide crew transport to and from the ISS alongside it.
We need to go back and have a really hard look at ourselves, look at the plan, look how we can get the place in a good mental state. At the moment, every time there's a little bit of pressure, we do things out of character, and then the results don't go our way. So we need to be hard on ourselves, and we'll start with us as management.
New Zealand edged Ireland 17-14 to clinch the Singapore title. Meanwhile, Springbok captain Siamthanda Kolisi won the Sports Star of the Year and People's Choice Athlete of the Year at the South African Sports Awards, which were held yesterday in the Northwest. His teammate Evan Etzebeth won Sportsman of the Year, and Mani Lebaka Newcomer of the Year. Former Bok coach Jacques Minaba won the Coach of the Year, with the Springboks named the Team of the Year. Other winners include sailor Kirsten Noshaba, who won Sportswoman of the Year, and sprint and long jump athlete Mumela Mshongo, who won the Sportsman of the Year with a disability. Sticking with athletics, South Africa achieved an Olympic qualification in the men's 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Relays in Nassau in the Bahamas. The men's 4x400 meters saw Botswana, Belgium, Japan, Germany, Italy, Nigeria, USA and Britain all also go through, while Agani Simbine anchored the SA men's 4x100 meter team as they qualified for the Paris Olympics alongside the United States, Italy, Canada, Japan, China, France, Britain, as well as Jamaica. Moving on to tennis, Andrei Rublev overcame illness and injury on his way to the Madrid Open title. The Russian defeated Canada's Felix Auger-Aliassime 4-6, 7-5, 7-5 to win his second Masters 1000 title. Here's the 26-year-old Rublev.
Half of my throat is blocked, and the first days I couldn't eat, so doctors were doing some injections that were, at least I were able to go on court, and then I get it.
Just located throughout South Africa, and they're open 7 days a week. You can visit webuycars.co.za for more.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual-action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple-action pain relief. Andelex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andelex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andelex it. WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongles. The South African housing crisis has got a lot to do with the ANC allowing all of these people into our borders. If we deported all the people that were illegally here and then start concentrating on a naming list of who qualifies for housing, can we afford to build these houses, or do we need to give the community skills so they can build their own houses, empower them and give them land which the government has got more than 54% in their own possession, so they don't need to repossess anything. But the ANC will do everything but what they should be focusing on.
Is it that simple? This immigration problem is a woe that affects many countries around the world. Look at the United States and Donald Trump and building the wall. Look at the European countries that are now trying all sorts of things, including sending migrants to places like Rwanda. People cross the Mediterranean every single day. They try and land in Spain, they try and land in Italy, they try and land in France. Even when they've managed that, then they try and cross the English Channel. This immigration challenge is one that's affecting countries around the world because of geopolitical instability, because of many factors that make it impossible for people to stay in their home countries. I'm not sure if it's that simple. And this issue of land,
Continue straight.
how much of it is a red herring? Think of all the rural areas. Do you find informal settlements in villages? There's plenty of land, but people are moving to urban areas where they are seeking opportunities. Is it about land or is it about opportunities? I wonder.
Good morning, Bongani. Anonymous here. I just want to find out, Zuma is forever going to court. Who pays for his legal fees? I hope it's not our tax money, because this person is forever going to court, and his party, that Mkondowesi's party, he will be supported by his people from his hometown. He must just know it.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask all sorts of questions about where Zuma gets the money, even for this political party. I have seen, and I've got to tell you this, I think I've said this before, MKP has some of the most visible, most noticeable, most impressive posters. But I also, and this is, how do I say this, a sample of one, right? This is my own observation. It may not necessarily be true, and there may be reasons for it, I don't know. But I've noticed areas where there were MKP posters, and suddenly some of them are gone. And I can't explain that. There's some streets where I was like, hang on, wasn't there? And they seem to have vanished. I wonder what's behind that. 702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, and it's your chance to win some cash. So first up for 1,000 Rand, SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Today's answer comes from Itumeleng in Pretoria. Itumeleng, please give us today's answer.
Morning, Bongani. The answer is 1.6 million.
And tell me, Itumeleng, have you requested a quote from Outsurance?
In 200 meters, turn
Itumeleng,
right.
how about 1,000 Rand in cash? Well, thanks to Outsurance at 702. Great stuff. Itumeleng says it's 1.6 million. So there's your answer. It's the question. Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
Turn right.
CWN Sport. All right, Cinepaluta, Spurs. No chance now, I think, of being in the Champions League.
That's exactly right, because yesterday they lost to Liverpool 4-2. Liverpool's goals came from Salah, Robertson, Gakpo and Elliott. Spurs denting their hopes, as you said, as of a top four finish. They're 7 points behind Aston Villa, who lost to Brighton 1-0 yesterday. Spurs boss Ange Postecoglou.
It's usually disappointing outcome for us. At least
we were more like ourselves today in terms of our football. I mean, our last two away games, Newcastle, Chelsea, apart from the results, which weren't great either, but we just didn't try and play our football. I thought today, some of the football, our pressing was back to where it should be. We lacked the real sort of cutting edge for sure.
Chelsea beat West Ham 5-0. The Blues are up to 7th, ahead of Man United, who travel to Crystal Palace tonight. Arsenal still 1 point ahead of Manchester City, who have a game in hand. Arsenal's last 2 games are against Man United and Everton. City's last...
Sorry.
Are you laughing because... I know why you're laughing.
It's a trauma response.
You go, oh, this is where Man United suddenly decides, fine. And City's last 3 games are against Fulham, Spurs and West Ham. In the Nedbank Cup, Sundowns beat Stellenbosch 2-1 with goals from Darwin Lodge. Stelly's boss Steve Barker says the game was a good gauge of how good the team is.
So very proud of the team today. Again, I think it's a benchmark. We want to be playing on the continent ourselves. We've still got work to be done in the league to get that. So it was a good gauge to see where we are as a football club against a team like Sundowns with the type of crowd, the atmosphere that was here against a really quality team.
So Sundowns will play Orlando Pirates in the final. Real Madrid were crowned the Liga champions on Saturday after they beat Cadiz and Barcelona lost to Girona. In Formula 1, a first ever win for Lando Norris, winning in Miami. Norris moved to the front after making a pit stop when a safety car was out, while others had already stopped. Verstappen finished second, with Leclerc in third. In rugby, the Sharks are through to the Challenge Cup final after beating Clermont 32-31. They'll battle Gloucester in the final on May the 24th. And in tennis, Andrei Rublev beat Augiela 4-6, 7-5 and 7-5 to win the Madrid Open, and then went back to hospital as he's struggling with a suspected virus. He was also playing the game with an anesthetized foot. Women's title was won by Iga Swiatek, who beat Sabalenka in 3 sets. Cindy Palooza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic. 18 to 8. Amo, what's the latest? You were telling us about that slow traffic on the M2 West.
Well, Lani, it's an accident reported there. It's right near the Crown interchange. It's slowing down traffic coming out of Heidelberg Road. While traveling in the Kempton Park area, we've got heavy delays along Wodderfontein Road. This is near the Kempton Park Mall. It is because of an accident reported along this route. Please try to find alternative roads. While traveling on the R24 West towards the Kilulis interchange, heavy delays coming out of Barber Road towards the Kilulis turn off due to an earlier accident. It's still there, in fact, causing those long queues. And traveling on the M1 North, we're still seeing bumper-to-bumper delays between Boysons Road and Empire Road due to peak time delays. I'll have more of your reports, but if you see anything else, please do remember to text us on 31702.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, thanks to Outsurance, please tell me what's the question. If the answer is 1.6 million, who has the correct answer? Tato wants to try. Tato, what's the question?
The question is, how many people did Madonna perform in front of in Copacabana?
1.6 million. Is there any concert you would go to where you would know there'd be millions of other fans?
Sade, without a doubt.
Who?
Sade.
Yo, 1.6 million, Tato. How do you get in and how do you get out?
Don't worry about that.
Imagine finding a bathroom.
Don't worry about that.
Hey, Tato, hey. Or am I just too old? Congratulations, my guy. You won 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. It's a real thing. Maybe let's reflect. What's the worst concert you've been to? And if you're older like I am, what are your strategies, Amo, of making sure you get in and out? I know Clive. What Clive says, he counts the number of songs the performer gives.
Turn right.
And when he thinks
then
she's got
turn left.
maybe 2 left, or they've got 2 left, he exits so as to avoid the congestion as people leave.
So what I do when I'm at a concert like that kind, I wait it out. So after I wait until the last song is performed.
1.6 million people. You're leaving tomorrow, babe.
No, maybe let's talk about.
You're leaving.
Let's say it's a normal kind of a concert, right? Where there's
you're talking about your little piddly 20,000 at the Dome. Right? That's nothing. And even there, it can take you a good hour or 2 to get out.
That's why I wait. I sit for an hour, wait for almost everyone to go up, and then I leave.
1.6 million people.
In 100 meters, turn right.
What are your strategies when you go to concerts? Or
Turn
is it
right,
just
then
Am I moaning and groaning because I'm at a certain age? You let me know. Mother's Day is fast approaching, and so it's your chance to get a better deal on your insurance. Yep, Outsurance is on a mission to see if they can get you a better deal so you can splurge on mom all year long. Don't miss out. Get your obligation-free Outsurance quote before 5 p.m. on Wednesday, the 8th of May, and you'll automatically be entered into a lucky draw to win a Net Florist voucher to the value of 2,500 Rand. Simply SMS MOM to 45142 for a quote. So that's MOM to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP, T's and C's online.
You're not experienced enough. How will you manage your money? Your monthly expenses will be too high.
Do what others say you can't with our MyMo Biz Plus account. Tailored to fit your growing business banking needs, this all-in-one solution offers a bundle of transactions and services at a fixed monthly service fee. Start, manage, and grow your business at standardbank.co.za/rise above the noise. Standard Bank. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Corporates That Care is a 702 and Prime Media outdoor initiative where we are promoting and encouraging corporate South Africa and all citizens really to walk the talk for a better country. Well, why don't you catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday just before 9, and you'll be hearing from the CEO of Lotterstar. We want corporate South African leaders everywhere to be a part of our efforts. So every Wednesday you can listen to one hero companies and brands that pour their efforts into building our country and our people. Let's walk the talk and together make a difference in society.
Turn left.
702.
Good day, Wangani. If companies like Terra Investment and others like the likes of Shanduka Group are BEE partners, how does BEE work, Wangani? Do you think BEE benefit people on the ground or ordinary people? Thanks, David.
Well, one of the things you've got to remember is who Tebe Investments are, and I think this kind of deal absolutely benefited people on the ground. There are a lot of people who've invested their pensions through a deal like this, who otherwise would not have had access to some of the investments and profits that come with the likes of Shell. So all of these, of course, are complicated deals and corporate structures, but does it necessarily benefit only a few? It depends on the deal, and it depends on who's put it together. One of the reasons I think this was lauded was because of who Tebe Investments themselves represents.
Good morning, Daniel. I think it's not advisable to have kids at the age of 45 and above. Because look, for example, if you're 45 and you have a baby, when you are 50, or she's 5 years, then when you're 10 years, then you're on pension, the child still needs your attention. And then you can't even attend to kids because of being dollar. And I think the best way is to make kids up to the age of 40 below. Then you are done. And not so many kids.
In 200 meters, turn left.
Done. Thank you.
I remember being on campus. We were going around signing petitions for the one child. We wanted every person to commit that they would only get one child, because of course the concern was around overpopulation. These things tend to peter out. They peak and then they kind of decline. We're seeing that, of course, even in places like China, where there is population decline. We were asking earlier,
in 600 meters, sharp right.
Children, I sometimes think some of these Hollywood stars who will choose to have youngsters in their 60s. I think Elton John was in his 60s when he had children for the first time. I wonder, and I know they've got an army of, aid who will help them, nurses, nannies, drivers, you name it. I wonder if is it awful to say a little selfish?
No, I don't think
Surely
so.
because you're just not going to be around long enough. If you're having children in your 60s,
but you're
as
not
a dad,
guaranteed. You don't know. You can leave until 100.
And I think what, maybe
Elton
why...
John's not going to live until 100.
You don't know that. No, you don't. I promise you. And many people who choose to have children later on in life are people who've had like busy careers. And so it makes sense that at your retirement, the one thing that you can do is that you have yourself is time.
In your 50s, you've got high, you've got blood sugar,
Not
your bones
all
are
of us.
creaking.
Not everyone has all of those issues. Remember, they have enormous health. They have got health checkups that are like very expensive, immune system boosters every now and again. So probably they don't even have those issues.
The funniest WhatsApp so far this morning comes from Billy Rendell, who says, well, Hani, it's so stupid to worry about the bathroom at that Brazil show. Where is the beer going to be kept cold? That should be more concerning.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
He's recovered, of course, from his birthday celebrations. Not that I was invited. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, man. I kept it so tidy on Friday night. Just went out for a very relaxed dinner. Had 2 beers because I had club champs this weekend at my golf course, which is very important if you are a member of a golf course, right? So after day 1 on Saturday, I was like, why did I stay sober on Friday night? It was a waste of time because I played so terrible. So I should have just drank on Friday night.
Member of a golf club, I think it is, right? Do you belong to a golf course or a club?
Club. Well, you could say I belong to the golf course, club, whatever,
I don't play
probably the most accurate thing is club.
I don't know these things. I don't play golf. I loved our first story. I loved our first video. This young kid reciting an inspirational speech from the Rocky movie in front of who?
In front of old Sly, Rocky himself. So, I mean, if you think about these Rocky movies, Bongles, they have spanned across many generations, and it just shows you how important these kind of movies are for youngsters and the like. So this little kid, he must be about maybe 9, 10. And he comes across Rocky, and I think it's because they've unveiled a massive statue for Rocky Balboa or Sly, but it's probably more for Rocky. And this kid then walks up to Sly and he starts reciting this very inspirational line from the movie Rocky Balboa. It was one of the later movies made where Rocky's obviously a lot older. And this kid is just full of passion and enthusiasm in the way he's reciting this line. And we're not going to play the audio from the kid because the audio is not that clear for radio purposes, but we're going to play the line from the original movie. Take a listen.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Oh, my goodness. And this kid knows this thing line by line, and it's lovely to just watch Sylvester Stallone looking at him giving these lines back. He joins him in some points. We'll play just a little snippet to give you a sense of how well this kid does it. You really can't hear it too well because the audio isn't great, but if you watch the video, you'll see it. This kid recites, it's not how hard you can hit, but how hard you can hit. And they do it together.
And then Sly does the movie, in my opinion. So I'll post that video just now, and then you can go and watch it and hear it maybe a little bit better on your headphones. So, Bongles, the question from that one this morning is I wanted to ask, what is your favorite movie line? It could be an inspirational line from a movie, but that one movie line that you know off by heart, and if somebody says, hey, Bongles, tell me that movie line, you will recite it like it's no issue at all, and you can just pull it out of the hat when you want to. So what is that one movie line?
Just a line, Kabazela?
You probably got movies you can recite.
Oh, I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and select out, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that sweater is not just blue, it's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean.
Parking.
Your destination is on the right.
Let's talk now about this logistics truck driver, and I wonder if anybody will be able to identify that truck.
Well, the truck is identifiable, and I was questioning whether I should name it or not, because I don't know if this truck is just a bad driver, and if it is, the company involved must definitely take responsibility and address some of the concerns that people have had on X, or perhaps it was a hijacked truck. We don't know. But anyway, the guy who's filming this truck is basically claims that this truck overtook him in the yellow lane, and then when he started filming the truck tried to run him off the road, and then you see when he's filming this truck, he almost hits another car, and then goes straight through a red traffic lights. I mean, amazing that he didn't hit any other cars. But I mean, the branding's all over the truck. If you want to go watch the video, and we're waiting to see if the company involved will respond. But absolutely crazy, and it got me thinking about these transport companies that you see, and they'll often have at the back of their trucks, "How is my driving?" or "Report bad driving." Have you ever picked up the phone to phone one of these numbers that you see on the back of the truck and say, "Listen, so-and-so here, number plate, blah, 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 is driving like a complete idiot." And what does the company involved actually do? Do they give you feedback on your complaint? Or do you just kind of think, another bad driver on the road, and let's move along?
Well, that'd be a curious one, because I think if the company concerned does see this truck and that number plate, perhaps it is something they can take some action on. And what's that movie you can quote line by line, top of your head? Let us know.
702. Feedback with Clive Moahi.
All right, Clive, I've already shared your leave early trick for concert. Just shows you and I are old.
We are, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, Bilal sent us this voice note voice. He says, "Bongani, hearing the Madonna concert and complaining about the logistics of getting in and out, we are indeed old." He says, "I complain about getting in and out from Soccer City with 70k people, so I can only imagine 1.2 million or 1.6 million people." I agree with you, Bongs. It is, I don't know. Immediately when I saw that story, I thought to myself, presuming there are perhaps big screens all around, but still.
I don't even mind that you could possibly hear her, because I'd imagine they'd take care of the sound. And clearly, I mean, people like Tina Turner, Rod Stewart, as I said earlier, this is quite a famous venue for this open-air free concert, right? For me, I could hear you in my car speaker. I could hear you in my little speaker at home, right? It's the idea that this performer has put on this amazing show, but they are, 2 kilometers away.
But you get to be part of the history, do you know what I mean? You can say to your kids,
13
years ago when I was 21, I was there, So it's one of those.
Sorry, miss me, hey?
It is one of those, but I'm interested to hear what other hacks our listeners have.
If it was black coffee, I would go.
You would go, okay.
Because I don't need to see black coffee. You see what I'm saying? I get the vibe. I don't need to see it's black coffee.
Parking. Okay. La iba empty ngayo ngesikhathi bani la? Parking. Okay. I'd rather go to like Empress Palace or Carnival City, or
you want to go to shows?
Yeah, like shows, like those kinds of things. Like at the Market Theatre.